Welcome to the Artist Sessions. I'm Janice Cotter, the Gallery Manager at PoMoArts. Before we start this evening, I'd like to express gratitude to the PoMoArts Board of Directors, as well as say how thankful we are at this time for the financial support of the Government of Canada, Province of BC, and the City of Port Moody. I'd also like to spread some extra love to Port Moody, City of the Arts, and our mayor and council, including the council rep on our board, Councillor Zoe Royer. They've been unwavering in their support of PoMoArts during the pandemic and our plans to reopen. There will be more details released in the days to come, but I'm absolutely delighted to say that by mid-August, we'll be doing hybrid exhibitions that include digital gallery with virtual openings and artist talk, as well as art in the gallery again. You can stay up to date with our reopening plans by following PoMoArts on social media and signing up for our newsletter. Last week in the Artist Sessions, you met Jessica Zrali, one of our voice instructors at PoMoArts. And tonight you're going to meet some enormously talented artists that teach here. I used to see so many of our visual arts and music teachers when they pass through the gallery on their way to teach their classes. They aren't all able to be part of this event tonight, but it still feels like a bit of a reunion. It's been so long since I've seen them. PoMoArts visual arts teachers are leaders in their field. They commit themselves to creating diverse learning experiences and have a passion for sharing their creative skills and inspiring their students of all ages. The exhibition, Creativity Lives Here, is a biennial celebration of these dedicated artists who teach at PoMoArts. Of course, it was intended to be installed in the galleries at PoMoArts this month, but due to the pandemic, it was briefly postponed and is now being presented as a digital exhibition. I'm very grateful to these wonderful artists for their flexibility and for trusting us in the transition to the online presentation of their artwork. We have 11 exhibiting artists in the show, and I'm delighted to have 6 of them here with us tonight. You'll meet each of them as we scroll through the digital exhibition and view their artwork. Once again, I'll be asking the artists to introduce themselves and to share something about their artwork, art practice, and their classes at PoMoArts. You can post questions for the artists in the Facebook comments. And if you open the digital gallery on PoMoArts website, you can scroll through it with us. The gallery link will be posted in the Facebook comments. If you have inquiries about artwork or interested in purchasing anything to support the artists, you can contact me, gallery@pomoarts.ca. And that's actually, that contact information is on our website, and it's also at the bottom of the digital exhibition. So first up this evening is Olga Andrenko. Now, she isn't able to be here with us this evening, so I'll tell you a bit about her and you can see more of her work as we scroll through the exhibition. You'll notice that that surface decoration and texture are features of her style. Olga is a fine arts tutor and potter. After completing 2 fine arts degrees in her home country, Olga taught gifted and aspiring artists in a state university for more than 10 years. Since then, Olga has worked as a private fine arts tutor and professional potter in Vancouver for the past 15 years. Due to her professional and structured approach to teaching, she has helped both seasoned artists and aspiring children develop their methodology, skills, vision, and artistic practice. And we'll just scroll through some of her work. So when you're scrolling through, if you come across images that look smaller than the others, you can click on them and they will become full-size images, so you can get a better look at the artwork in detail. And if it's a large piece and you feel like you can't see it clearly, if you click on it, then it will become a little bit smaller. So it's a little, it's a bit interactive, which is kind of nice. So our next artist up is the lovely Kimberly Blackstock. She has been a long-time instructor at PoMoArts. And if you'd like to find out more about Kimberly, she has a profile on our artist directory, and you can click on it and see a little more about her personal art practice. And let's see, where was I? Oh, Kimberly was actually on one of my early episodes when we first started the artist sessions. She joined us on one of them, and it is so great to have Kimberly back on this. So great to have her back with us tonight. So at this point, I'm going to invite Kimberly to join us and tell us a bit about her artwork and her practice and her teaching, and I will scroll through the exhibition. So Kimberly? Okay, Kimberly?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself there.
Oh, sorry. Okay. No,
no problem.
We're doing this unmuting thing again. That seems to hit me every single time. So it looks like you've been really busy at this time. So I'm going to let you talk, and I'll scroll. And if you see something that you want me to stop at, by all means, just tell me to pause.
Okay, so I guess first of all, I'd like to say most of my work kind of varies from body to body. I've always got a floral body of work going, and then I also go outside of that. So here I decided to include not all of my floral work, but my most recent work, which I was doing a lot of pouring and working in circle panels and larger pours than I normally would. So I was just challenging myself, and yeah, this is what I have here. I created a little video, and that was kind of stepping outside of my comfort zone because I don't like the camera, and I can't believe I'm doing even this right now. But I thought I'd just share because it's really hard right now not being able to teach or guide people creatively. So I thought that when I was asked to maybe put a video together, I'd put a video together. So it kind of it explains my pouring process and what I do. And I encourage questions because it doesn't go into great detail, but I love helping people out. So if you have questions, please type away and I'd love to answer them. So yes, this is my latest body of work.
And you in the video you go into quite a bit of detail on the process for preparing these works.
Yeah, and there's two different ways that I prepare them as well. So the larger pieces, I work in layers a little bit more, where the smaller pieces I'm able to just pour all in one go. So they vary a little bit in the way they look depending on their size and the approach.
And you also included some work in your one of the other styles you work in.
Yeah, so I did those ones, I'd say just before or maybe along the same time that I was doing the large pours, and they're a little bit more representational underneath, and then I've layered white acrylic ink over top, sort of ghost lines that sort of float above. So it's more contour, almost contour drawing on top of the painting.
So Kimberly has commented on each of the styles, and we've included some of the text in the exhibition. Now, Kimberly, what have you got planned for? I know that fall class proposals are underway, and just wondered if what you had planned for fall.
So I'm definitely on board to getting back in the center as soon as possible. So I'm hoping that that will happen. So far, that's what we're planning on, and I'm looking forward to teaching all ages again in the fall when that comes. There's a possibility I might teach at the end of August as well. I don't know if that's going to be online or in person. We'll have to see what happens. But right now, I'm there when I can be there. So as soon as that starts, I'll be there.
It's great that all the instructors have been able to be so flexible in their approach and taking on these new styles of teaching. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Pauline Doyle. Pauline began teaching at PoMoArts when she was our ceramic artist in residence in 2009. Welcome, Pauline. I'm going to let you tell us a bit about yourself and talk about your artwork and teaching. So I'll just let you start. And I love this picture of you. You look so fun. It's so fun. It's from one of our earlier shows, but you're muted. Sorry, Pauline. I'm going to see if I can unmute you. No. Myrna, can you unmute? Thank you.
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hi, everybody. Okay. So right now I've put in pieces for this show. I like to put in a variety of pieces for the instructor show to basically so that I can show people the sort of projects that we might do in class and different techniques that they might learn in a hand building class. So I like to do a hollow sculptural form like the pears, and then some sort of slab built form like the boxes you can see here, my Big Bang boxes. And maybe they would do a plate or which has some decoration, and like the bear plate here, you know, with some incising on it or some relief work. So that's what I try and show in what I presented for this show. Lately, I've been working at my studio, and tomorrow I'm finishing the last day of my very first week-long online class at the Art Center, which has been great fun. I've done a family clay class, and it's worked out. I was quite nervous about it, but it's worked out quite well, and we are having a really good time. And I will have classes in the fall as well coming up. 2 adult hand building classes, and then 1 teen or youth class for experienced young artists.
Well, that'll be fun. I know you have a huge following of youth artists for your clay classes, and I know your family camp is always really popular as well. And I love the little video that you did for the Port Moody's Virtual Canada Day, so that people could make their own salt clay project at home. So I believe it's still on the city's website. If not, I'm sure it's on our YouTube, the Port Moody Art Center YouTube channel. So
yes, it is on. I believe so too. I think it's on the YouTube channel as well.
Yes, and you were artist in residence, not just 1 year. How long were you artist in residence here?
Well, that was back when, the residency lasted a little longer, and I actually got pretty lucky because things were kind of changing. So I was there for 3 years, and I ran the public studio, taught classes, and then worked on my art practice as well during that time.
Oh, okay. Well,
it was a great opportunity for me to work and learn.
It is always a nice experience. Now our ceramic artist in residence program is generally only 1 year long, and actually we'll be posting for it fairly soon. So actually, it was a good time to mention that you had been ceramic artist in residence.
I did learn, yes, it is. Yeah, it's a great opportunity. And we've had wonderful artists in those positions over the years.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And I'm so glad to hear that you're putting in lots of programs for this fall, and that your your first summer camp went well on digital, a Zoom camp.
Yeah.
We're moving on now to the lovely Christy Dunsmore. Christy's an artist and a writer with a fabulous sense of humor in her art practice and in her teaching. I am going to invite Christy to join us and to tell us more about herself and her work and her teaching. Hello, Christy.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great. Okay, I unmuted myself. So I just want to say it's so great to be here. So great to be with all of these amazing women. Some of you I know very well. Some of you I have not met before. But what an honor it is to be part of this exhibit and to be with all the ladies. So thank you for this. Thank you for putting it together, Janice. It's really awesome. So I've been teaching at this art center for, I guess, over 4 years now. I do drawing, painting, collage, a little bit of everything. In my previous life, I was a microbiologist. Then I went back to school, did my fine arts degree. My mom is an artist. So I came by that quite naturally. Drawing, my favorite thing. That is really what I studied a lot of when I was out at UBC. But after I graduated, I did a lot of post-grad work with an artist who was really involved in mixed media. And so it was great because she really helped loosen me up. And if that is one thing that I try to help my students do, it is to loosen you up. So I kind of have a few philosophies that I try to instill in my lovely students, and I primarily teach teens and adults. One is just the brain health of being a creative person. It's so important, and creativity is literally good for you. And that is one of my mottos. And they are, presenting all kinds of studies now, that it doesn't matter what you're doing in your life, but doing something like art or music or dancing, quilting, no matter what it is, but if a creative venue will just make you a happier and healthier person. So I think that's really cool. The other thing that I truly believe is, if you're not making mistakes, then you're not working hard enough. And I think there can be fear sometimes when people sign up for a class. I still take a lot of classes myself. I'm not usually that scared now, but there are times in the past, going into a class and just thinking, oh my gosh, like, am I going to be any good at this? Hopefully you won't be. Hopefully you'll make a whole bunch of mistakes and discover stuff. So I really believe in that, make mistakes, try not to make it all so precious. The thing that I really, and you'll see it in my artwork, is storytelling. And it doesn't have to be a once upon a time story. It can be a story about color. It can be a story about anger, sadness. Oh my gosh, COVID-19, it can be anything, right? But one of the questions that I always ask is, what is going on here? And it's a fascinating question to ask when you're analyzing your own work, and then looking at other people's work. So those are kind of my 3 things, if you will. I will be offering actually a lot of classes in August. I did some in July. I also did some in the spring online, and it was great. I because I'm a writer, do a lot of workshops and things online anyway, but doing a visual program online does have its challenges, but it's pretty cool what you can do. And I found it just a really positive, wonderful experience. I was blessed to have some students who had moved away. They'd been my students a few years ago. And so they got to come back and visit me and be online with me. So that was just really lovely. So I am very excited if we can be like in real life in September. That is just going to make me really happy. I miss my students. I miss my fellow teachers. I miss the gang at the studio. I'm a pretty social person. And so this pandemic has been, yeah, a challenge. I mean, I do like my alone time. And I think a lot of us creative types do like our alone time. But yeah, I miss hugging people. Dang it. So hopefully that'll happen again soon. Anyway, look for my classes that will be coming up in September. I'm just putting them together now. So typically I do a drawing class for adults, as well as kind of a art exploration kind of thing. Usually once a month, I'm trying to offer a create night. It's kind of my version of a paint night. It is not a paint by numbers. It is a very creative and really hilarious and fun program. So I hope if you just want kind of a one night stand, come out and do a create night with me. For youth, and so that's kind of 11 to 17-year-olds, I do various drawing classes for different levels. My drawing intensive class has been one of the most popular classes for me, which is fantastic. So it just kind of takes us to different levels. And I also do art and architecture, having run a architecture consulting firm for about 25 years. I kind of know a little bit about that. It's really fun to share that knowledge. And then I do a surprise design challenge class. And yeah, I like to mix it up for my students and make them think. So again, it's such an honor to be here, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, Christy. I appreciate you going into so much detail about everything. It's always a joy to have you in the gallery and on an event.
Thank you.
Even if it's digital, we'll just have to keep doing those virtual hugs.
Exactly.
So our next artist is Margarita Hobbs. Margarita is unable to be here with us tonight, but I wanted to tell you a bit about her. Margarita uses her art practice to communicate and tell the world who she is. She's inspired by the colors and shapes of natural environment and is obsessed with past events that have occurred in her life. She looks for what might not be immediately apparent to the natural eye. Her work is a study of shape and movement conveyed through line, texture, layers, and color. Materials and chemical reactions between the materials she uses in her art are very much a part of her creative process. She works a lot in acrylic and alcohol inks. So, as an art instructor, Margarita believes it is her job to help her students find and forge their own road to self-discovery. She teaches varied classes and a variety of techniques with various materials because there are different ways to create and different paths to creativity. It is her hope she can help her students find the techniques and tools that resonate uniquely with each of them. So hopefully we will get to see Margarita soon, and she will have classes for the fall as well. So I would like to welcome our next artist, a very warm welcome to Lily Masbow. She is a passionate artist who loves to create work that represents balance and beauty. Lily, would you tell us about your art practice, this wonderful series that you've submitted, and teaching at PoMoArts?
Hello, everyone. It's nice to see everyone again after such a long time. I started this collection, actually, it's in process right now, and it's part of a collection that I'm working on. And I'm trying to capture the shapes and colors actually separately, and emphasize the shape without sacrificing the color. Also in the glass pair, which I call it glass pair, I am using streamline shape and trying to capture the light with different just shapes in the light and the color. And as I mentioned, this is just part of an in-process collection and the first one.
Sorry, I went too fast there before you got to speak about that one. We'll move on to the next ones now, Lily.
That's okay. This is the one that I mentioned that I'm trying to separate the shape and the color. I've done this before. About 10 years ago, I had another collection which was called Birds of Paradise, which I tried this technique for the first time, and I tried to do this for the first time. This time, actually, I'm bringing more shapes. So I tried musical instruments, which is, yes, it's there. So I tried violin and guitar there. It's the same technique, and I'm planning to do more. And as I mentioned, it's just in process collection.
It's quite a bit of a different style from your, I think the calla lilies tend to represent more of what your traditional style is that you work in.
Yes, actually, what I'm doing right now, the new collection that I started, it's just, I'm just having fun to do something different. But the calla lilies are actually what I usually do. And I like clean lines. I like streamlined shapes, and it's just what makes me feel good when I paint. But I always actually encourage my students to be creative and to try to find their own style. And it's good to be, to be an artist that you have your own style, and it's something that you found, and you are just content or happy with it.
Now you have been, you were teaching some summer camps as well, on digital summer camps?
Yes, yes, I've been teaching summer camps, and actually it went really well, a lot better than I expected. And my students and the parents were asking if we are going to start to have classes actually in person. And at the time, I had no idea that we're starting in September. So I did mention to them that I'm not sure, and we have to see how it goes. But I'm very happy that we are able to do that. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's great. And you'll be doing classes in the fall as well.
Absolutely, yes.
Great. Looking forward to that. So now I will leave Lily, and we will move on to our next artist, who is, PoMoArts is always encouraging artists to join our group of instructors and teach techniques and mediums that might be new to our community of arts enthusiasts. The next two artists I will be meeting for the first time this evening, but that's partly due to the fact that we've all been working remotely. So I would like you to meet Rana Naveed this evening. Welcome, Rana. It's a pleasure to have you join us this evening. Are you?
Yeah, first I want to introduce myself, and actually first I need to to thank everyone, thank Janice, thank Art Center to let me be a member of them and be a member, be in your group. My name is Rana. Actually, I'm very new to Canada, and it's about a year that I'm living in Canada. And so starting from last year that my nephew introduced me to PoMoArts Center because he was a student of George who is teaching piano there. And then I said that what's a good chance that I talk to PoMoArts Center if I have an opportunity to produce my artwork to everyone. So it was the reason that I get connected to PoMoArts Center. I started painting since my childhood, but it was kind of hobby for me to do painting. But recently, I think I can say around 5 years, I started doing vitre on glasses. I do vitre on all kind of glasses. I mean, the plates and glasses, I use different kind of techniques. The artwork that you are seeing right now is fish and symbol of my Persian New Year. Actually, I did this with my mom and I repeated again because she really likes it. And usually I mix the colors, but and I use colors from my side. But recently I created a new technique of vitre, which I don't use outliners. As you see in these 3 last artwork, I mixes all the colors of vitre, which is, you see it it's very new to the art of vitre.
And also, I just want to make a note that if people were to click on the individual images, they would be able to see larger, more detailed versions of them. So sorry, Rana, just keep on going there.
Yeah. And as you see here, as I mentioned, I try to use different techniques of vitre. So it's just, I have about a few birds for myself, and these are my real birds that I painted them. And if you scroll down, Janice, you will see the other one. So they're a bit naughty, but always they are just like this way, they're sitting next to each other. So I painted them as well. Yeah.
And also in a large image, you can click on it and it'll be smaller and more manageable to look at too.
Yes. So I'm really happy that I'm among you, and I'm very new to everyone, but I love to meet everyone. And of course, during the next season, I love to be a member and have my classes. It's a bit new, I believe, to PoMoArts Center, someone teaching the vitre, but I brought some materials for vitre because it's not easy to be found here, and so I'm already completely occupied for the coming classes.
That's wonderful. So you'll be teaching vitre on glass in the fall?
Yes, I love to continue vitre. As you have seen that I use vitre as well on fluid painting in the other artworks that it was above. I love to do that as well, but I believe that we have experienced artists in our group that they do fluid painting as well. But I don't mind to make it a bit fun, to mix it with kind of one night, one session, and do only the fluid painting. And if students, they like to continue to do the vitre, we can mix it together.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Rana, for joining us, and welcome to PoMoArts family of teachers. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
So our next instructor is Golrez Rezani. I'd like to welcome her. And although it's my first time meeting Golrez, I did see the wonderful video that she created for Port Moody's virtual Canada Day. And her co-star was her daughter, who was absolutely adorable. Well worth watching. It was, I really enjoyed it. And it was a great project too. So Golriz, it's lovely to have you here this evening. Would you like to tell us a bit more about your artwork and your practice and your teaching that will be coming up?
For sure. Good evening, everybody, and I'm glad and thankful to PoMoArts Center actually to have me. I recently moved from Calgary, so it was very welcoming, and I feel like I'm a BC resident now that I have some sort of connected to a community, to art community specifically. Yeah, I've been doing, I'm new, as you all know, and nice to meet you all ladies, lovely ladies. New to Port Moody PoMoArts Center, but definitely not new to art world. I've been teaching art and working as an artist for the last 20 years. For me, it actually all started when I was at art school. And I was lucky to have an artist dad who led me and guided me through the path. And I finished my master's in fine arts. So most of my life I've been painting, but I have worked as a graphic designer, an art teacher, and illustrator. I did all sorts of stuff. But my main focus is on painting. I had different phases in artwork during my artworks. The first one was very like for a long period of time. I was working on a black and white pieces. Like I have huge collection of white and black pieces. And as Christy mentions, it's really nice to push yourself out of this comfort zone and come out and loosen up. So color was a challenge for me at the beginning, like 6-7 years ago. Although I studied art and I was teaching color fundamental, how ironic is that, at Alberta College of Art and Design, but it was a challenge. And my students really helped me to grow in that area. What inspires me for the last 6 years is my kids. Because when I had them, I started illustrating for them, and the time that I was spending for them telling stories kind of reflected in my pieces. So my pieces these days have really narrative content and concepts. Unlike Christy, I have a once upon a time stories in my pieces, but I try to keep them as open as I can because I really enjoy and respect my audience's point of view and perspective. I want them to make up their own stories out of mine, which I think that's nice and lovely. When it comes to teaching, I really value technical sides, like how to teach my students work with ink or acrylic or mixed media, you know, all the steps and all the technical parts. But I try to push the creativity in their brain here and there. And sometimes it's hard for them to digest that because they came for just to learn how to do a pen and ink or watercolor. What does creativity do? Why do I care about composition? So I think that's my responsibility, to share the knowledge that they have and flourish them, nourish them as much as I can, because they teach me as well. It's a reciprocated action for me. For the classes that comes to fall, actually, I just received an email from Laura that if I'm interested, yes, for sure, I'm interested in teaching, and I have some classes in mind. And I deeply, really hope that we can have real people, real life classes when it comes to fall. I deeply hope for that. And yes, I'm for that, for different ages.
I think that's what we're all hoping for, Golriz. Yeah. And it looks like it could happen. So we are all working towards that goal.
Yeah, I can't wait to have my kids back to school too. Yeah.
So now we will, thank you very much, Golriz. Now we will move on to our next artist. I first met Shohreh Shirazi in 2015 when she exhibited in a project called Simorgh Between Sky and Earth, that we did at PoMoArts. It was an exhibition during Women's Day and just before Nowruz for 26 Persian women, as well as a cultural performance event. It was just an amazing, the whole thing was so wonderful. The next time I met Shorey was when she was shortlisted to paint a salmon sculpture for Coquitlam's 125th anniversary. And you can see her in painting it in her bio picture. And oh, I'll have to get her to tell you where it is because I have forgotten the location and I drove by it not long ago. Anyway, now Shorey teaches at PoMoArts, and I'm going to let her tell you about that and about her artwork. So Shorey, welcome, and I hope are you unmuted? No?
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you're unmuted
okay.
now. There you go.
Okay.
So where
Hi,
is
everyone. Yeah.
Where is your salmon? First, before you start.
My
Sorry,
salmon is by the police station and City Hall. Yeah.
That's right. I remember.
It's located there. It's pretty safe there. Okay. Hello, everyone. As Janice mentioned, my name is Shorey Shirazi. I'm a visual artist, and I'm so proud to be part of PoMoArt teachers, such a talented and beautiful ladies and gentlemen, and teaching art to our community and improve the cultural and creativity in people life. And it's very important to do art as a child, as an adult, in any age. And I can see how it's improved my own life as an artist, as a professional artist, but still doing it and looking for it, and actually try different subjects, different tools, actually make me so happy. And those challenges actually gear me up, and I can cope with the difficulties of our life these days, especially these few months that we are all stay home. We cannot hug people we love, and we cannot be face to face with many friends that we used to. My collection, what I do for these few months is kind of affect this feeling that I have. As all artists, actually, they expose themselves from their life and their community, and I'm not exception. So these few months, I look at park trails, walking through them, and I see just trees and rocks and water, and I didn't see many people. Sometimes a bench in the park is empty, and it was just me. And I thought how nature is alive, even when we have to stay home. The nature keep us alive. When we look at the trees, look at water, actually those are calm us and give us hope. So in this collection, I did trees. As you see, its bench is empty, nobody sit, and it's so weird. A few months ago, when I'm walking and see all the parks are empty, but now it's getting better. Actually, hopefully it's gonna be same. Going to September, we can have more time outside and with the people we like to be. And as you see, I work mostly on watercolor. Watercolor is my passion because of my personality is controlling all the time what I am doing and what I am saying things, but watercolor give me some rest because I can let water and paint work together. So this give me some kind of resting and calming. I don't have to be careful how they work. So they work beautifully, as you see in some of painting that even you may like what I did too. Anyway, and I did some black and white with pen that show my feeling these few months. And I try to, mostly my passion is portrait, life drawing, but now in this series I did lots of trees and landscape, and I challenge myself to new subject. I teach watercolor in PoMoArts, and I'm looking forward to people, if they like to try, join me. And it's so much fun. And I'm gonna have a class hopefully on September, and you can join me in person instead of online. And I believe staying in the same roof and do art is more fun than do online. And I teach cartoon and drawing to kids as well. I love drawing, and I love to share my passion to people they like to learn. And yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much, Shorey. I love this one with the empty bench. It's actually very calming. You don't see very many empty benches usually.
Yeah.
But definitely a statement on what things were like a couple of months ago. So our next artist is Agata Teodorowicz. Agata has loved art all of her life. Unfortunately, she's not able to be here with us this evening. From her childhood in Poland, through her art studies in Europe, life in Paris, and her current life in BC, she has adored art. Now, Agata is a prolific artist. She's always working on new and exciting projects, which in turn inspire her students. She's been teaching adult and children's art programs at Port Moody Art Center for more than 20 years. She was actually the very first art teacher through the door when the building transitioned from being City Hall to an art center. Agata's keen sense of color and form has been finely honed by over 50 years of making art. So she has a garden at Colony Farms, and she says that her garden is controlled but messy. And when everything starts growing, it goes a little bit mad, a little bit tangled. It was the source of inspiration for this floral series of artwork. She wanted the paintings to replicate that tangled feeling and to show the seasonality of the garden and the space she loves. She has a video recorded here, and it explains a bit more about her process and about this series. She goes into talking about the layering for the paint and the texturing using wax. And so it's well worth taking the time to have a look at each of the pictures and to watch the video as well. And it really is, I was at the garden and it is absolutely stunning. It just makes you feel like, so relaxed being there. Our next artist is Tracy C. And Tracy wasn't able to be here either this evening. And so I will tell you a bit about Tracy. Tracy studied at the Utrecht School of Art in the Netherlands and at the Institute of Fine Art in Guangzhou, China, before coming to the Tri-Cities in 2007. She's been teaching at PoMoArts since 2018. Tracy works in many mediums, from painting to fiber, and her art is often influenced by cultural memories and immigration experiences in Canada, exploring restructure and rebalance. For her new series, Ordinary Life, Tracy explored a new approach, applying yarn, thread, and textiles to create compositions by combining color, line, and texture. They are representatives of memories, places, feelings, space, and things we see in our daily lives. And Tracy will be planning programs for the fall as well. So we'll go through these vibrant fiber pieces. And as I mentioned earlier, the exhibition was supposed to be installed in the gallery, but we weren't able to. So I am always appreciative of the artists who are so flexible and trusting when we try these new things and experiment with our online exhibition. And if you would like to support our local community, you can look through the art. If you're interested in supporting these artists and purchasing any art, you can contact me. My email is here. And you can also support the Art Center. We're a nonprofit society, and by purchasing a membership, if you're an artist or a performer, a writer, you are eligible to have a profile page on our artist directory, just like all our instructors and our exhibiting artists do. So for right now, I am going to stop the share of this screen, and we will have all of our artists here. I just want to say that it's been such a pleasure to work with these warm and wonderful women who are so dedicated about sharing their artistic skills with their students, with our community, and with the art gallery. We do this exhibition every 2 years, and it's just incredible the work that our teachers are doing. So now we can have a group conversation and discuss classes, what you have been doing. I'm actually particularly interested in hearing about, I know Lily's done an online class, Shoray's done an online class, and Pauline's done one, and Christy's done one, and just how your experience with that has gone. And we all want to get back in person, but I'd love to hear how are your students responding to this? Christy, do you want to start with that?
Sure, I will. I've had, I think, four online classes. So they were drawing classes for my youth students. So again, kids kind of between 11 and 17. Most of them are sort of, I'm going to say 13, 14, 15, in that kind of age. And they're used to being you know, online. And so they seemed very comfortable with it. The 2-hour time period was not a problem to keep engaged with them. How a lot of them are kids I know, but there were a few newcomers. My main concern was if I'm showing a technique, because part of the deal, of course, is here's some technical stuff. That was my main concern. Can you see what I'm doing? And then can I see what you're doing? Because I tend to interact a lot with my kids. I do tend to talk a lot with my kids too. It was not a problem. It was really enjoyable, really fun. With my adults, I did a couple of create nights and I did a drawing class as well. I think in fairness, and again, some of the adults I knew, some were new, I think it was a little more difficult for them to get used to this format if they had not been doing anything online. Having said that, a lot of people, myself included, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Pinterest, I'm looking at stuff. I'm seeing how other people teach and I'm seeing what they're teaching. So it was interesting because I thought there would be more reluctance to it and there wasn't. So that was really cool. And as I say, I got to see some people that I had not seen because they'd moved away. So I think in general, pretty awesome.
Well, that's kind of nice. That's what I found with a lot of these online things. Personally, I was able to attend things online and meetings and conferences and artist talks that I might not normally have been able to. So for me, that was quite enjoyable. I'm hoping people will continue to do some of those.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Pauline, now you were teaching the family camp, so it was parents and children together. And you had mentioned earlier that it went well. So how did they get their supplies? Were they using clay or were they making salt dough, or how did this work?
No, they picked up their clay and a template and a sort of a little sheet where we described how to set up your home studio. They picked that up the week before it started, and it's going very well. And I was very nervous, even though I'd done Zoom and all that with. I had been teaching a little bit of crochet to a little girl on the island, a daughter of a friend of mine. And so I'd done that, but I'd never taught a full class with, I have 3 screens, but there are, a family of 4, a family of 3, and a family of 2. So there's a lot of people there. And the main thing, like Christy says, is can they see you? Can you see them? And it seems, and as well, like Christy said, they're very used to it. The kids, it's kids and technology. It's nothing, right? So they get it. I worried about, oh my gosh, will I be able to keep them engaged long enough or for the whole class time? No problem. It's been quite a blessing. So it's been really well. So if you know anybody who wants to get together with their family and take a clay class, it's, for 4 days. I have a couple of classes in August, a couple of weeks, kind of Tuesday through Friday. Come along. It's fun. You'll make fun projects. You'll learn a lot of stuff. You'll learn a ton of stuff.
I've always liked the concept of your family clay. I wish they'd had more things like that when my kids were little. They're not so little anymore.
I'm very lucky because I introduce kids to clay in this context. And I also introduce parents. So sometimes later on, the parent will just take one of my classes, because they get really, they want to work next to their kids, have mom kid time, but then they end up loving the subject themselves. So it sells itself too.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, Lily, I know you do a camp. Was it your fashion? Did you do your fashion camp online?
Yes, actually, I did a fashion camp, and I wasn't sure at first, a little bit reluctant, because it's a very hands-on camp, and I had to prepare. Actually, my biggest challenge was to prepare the supply kit so they could pick it up from the art center. And usually when we are in the class, if we run out something, I have more, and I always give them more supplies if they need to. But in this case, I had to make sure that they have everything for 5 days, and we're not going to run out of anything. And that was just the biggest challenge. But the class went very actually smoothly. They enjoyed it a lot, and 2 hours just passed by so fast. And as Pauline mentioned, first I was worried that I might not be able to keep them engaged for the whole 2 hours, but that wasn't the case, and it went really good. And I'm looking forward, actually, as I mentioned, to in-person classes, but I don't mind teaching online, for a longer period of time. And I have another class coming in August. Yeah.
I think it's so admirable that our teaching staff was able to just transition so quickly and relatively smoothly to something that, I mean, a lot of things are being taught, have been taught online for a while, but art for us, for PoMoArts anyway, wasn't one of them. So I have a lot of admiration for all of our instructors who have done this. Shorey, you were teaching a drawing class online, is that correct? Oh, your sound, yeah, sorry. Oh, you're still muted. Let me see if I can get you unmuted. No, I can't. You're gonna have to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I had a drawing and cartoon class for kids. As Christy mentioned, I think children are more comfortable to do online activity than adults, and they have experience. They're so comfortable. Even sometimes they give me some tip, and it was very good. And I had a class for about age 10, 12 years age, and they were so good, and they enjoyed. And I couldn't believe how quickly the time passed, and there is tons of subject that I want to talk about, but no time. And yeah, it was very fun. And I have a camp for end of July for a week, and end of August for same subject and same age, if everyone likes to join.
Oh, great. Oh, well, that's good. Then people can find information about this on the
Yeah,
website.
yeah.
Yeah. Now I have to go to Kimberly Blackstock here, and I wanted to ask her, when I watched your pouring video, it reminded me of a workshop, a 2D workshop that I did with you several years ago, and I know how much work goes into it. But I also know that when things are back in person, doing classes in person, people will start asking, will you ever do that again?
Yeah, I probably will. I get asked so many times that I feel like I have to do it. It's a lot of work. I don't know. I think the reward of doing it, though, is well worth it. And I actually just wanted to point out a couple times I've heard tonight, the instructors mentioning how the students have helped them, and how true that is. Like we want to give our knowledge to the students, but honestly, we need the students to help us with their own art practices as well. So it's, it goes hand in hand, and Yeah, so back to the pouring. Yes, actually, after making that video, I felt like I wanted to share a little bit more, and people are always asking, and yeah, that would be really great.
It was an enjoyable weekend. So I actually also, Pauline, I have one more question for you, is just about the time that PoMoArts shut down and the pandemic started, you were just getting access to your new studio on Spring Street in Port Moody. And I'm not sure if those studios had officially been named yet, but I know that a few artists were just starting to be able to move into them. How's that gone?
For me, fantastic. The studios, I think there's 8 studios. We've had 7 artists who are in there and have set up shop. I go in almost every day or 4 or 5 times a week. And I do see other artists in there, but they're not in there that much. The studios are lovely, you know, and big, and the space is quite spacious for, you know, for like a warehouse studio space. So we have had no problem with social distancing. I totally love it. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And
well,
I don't know exactly what we call ourselves. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know we're calling it Spring Street Studios, but yeah. We've actually, all of us artists have never met together. We've never had like a group meeting because we went into a pandemic. So
yeah. I just remember in the weeks leading up to it that I would hear all these updates about when people would be moving into their studios. And so I'm glad that it finally came about that even during this time, people were still able to access them and work off some steam in your studio and still create art. That's so nice to have that.
We've been going in and working, different artists have, but we haven't invited the public in.
No.
So just to, so right now I've had a friend in stage 3, but we can't have big groups. So I can't hardly wait. It'll be fun to maybe do a little exhibition there one day, hopefully.
Well, normally we have the Shuffle Art Walk in late June, and I know Showray's studio Esplanade has always been a part of that. So I'm hoping that by next June, when we're organizing the Shuffle, that we will be able to organize the Shuffle and have it in person again. And your studios, Pauline, will be able, the artists there will be able to participate.
Yes. If any of you want to come and see, I'd be happy to have people come in, you know, one at a time or a small group even now. And we'll keep our distance.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So I know all of these instructors will be preparing some amazing classes for fall, and I'm looking forward to seeing the ideas they come up with. I'm always so inspired by what they're teaching and the response that they get. So at this point, I would like to thank all of our instructors for attending this evening, and to say, please join us again next week. On June 30th, Caitlin Hill will host the artist sessions, and she'll be joined by pianist and composer Martin Mayer. So I hope you'll join us again then, and I say thank you for coming and good night.